welcome back to Media Week with the editor and publisher of Media Week, James Manning, joining us. Time now to take a look at the ratings for week 42 of Free to Air. James, what to make of it?
Yeah, look, usual suspects at the top there again. The X Factor, it's getting close to the grand final now. The finals seem to go on for a long time with some of those reality shows. Bathurst did very well too, up near the top of the ratings there. And in the bottom half of that top 10, where 7 had most of the spots in the top 10. I think 8 of the 10, the Blacklist still doing well for them too.
Okay, let's turn the page now, and they continue, and the V8
there
round
they are,
11
and Dancing with the Stars,
Yep, the Blacklist, 9 News and Dancing with the Stars. And then let's move on now to the subscription TV ratings for week 42.
Yeah, look, it's all about sport, lifestyle and zombies. A few things we've seen for successive weeks there. The cricket, looks not getting a lot of media attention. Australia's sort of quick trip to the subcontinent before the Ashes start back here in Australia, but it's rating very well. 3 games in the top 10 there. Lifestyle Channel always does well. Grand Designs Australia just started a new series it's there, as well as Location. And The Walking Dead in the top 10 there too, with a new series on FX.
Okay, and turning the page there, and we'll
the A-League down the bottom, and also the EPL, so the football doing very well for Fox Sports too.
Okay, James, also wanted to ask you about Foxtel signing on a couple of management players this week. Rowan Lund, where we've got from 7, and also Gavin Dumsday to CFO. What did you make of these appointments?
Yeah, it's interesting. Seeing Rowan turn up there at Foxtel makes a bit more sense now about the Jim Rudder resigning recently from Foxtel, because he hasn't been replaced, but Rowan's going to take over some of those things that Jim looked after, which is the technology, the IQ3. He'll be sort of bedding that in the Foxtel Go, the sort of mobile app, Foxtel Play, the online way of subscribing, and also we believe the Triple Play, which on the show last week we spoke to Richard Freudenstein, the Chief Executive of Foxtel, and he told us, look, there'll be something to say about the Triple Play, which is bundling telephony, broadband and your Foxtel subscription, so he'll have some input there too.
Okay, and what about drama? Because Screen Australia is reporting that the spending on drama is up about 9%. Which is interesting.
It is, yeah, but the big boost is on the TV part of that. That's up about 27%.
Wow.
Film spending was actually down quite dramatically. Look, not a lot of Australian movies being made. That'd be no shock to anybody there, those stats. But the free-to-air broadcasters spending up big. Australian drama, if you get it right, get your big audiences. And of course the ABC back into that sector in a big way, spending a lot more than they have in Australian dramas than ever before.
But where's that money coming away from?
Probably some sports, if like some network cuts back its spend on sports rights, that they could be doing that. Maybe their news, they're not making, maybe things like late night news disappeared off a lot of the networks. Maybe some of that spending goes into TV drama. Okay,
now we've got the 9 entertainment prospectus. That should be ready by November 4, and 9 will be sitting at about $600 million by then. This one's hotly anticipated.
Yeah, it is. Look, but already a few people this week have been telling me, look, I've been hearing enough about this 9 entertainment float. Seems to have been going on forever.
Yeah,
at least it's getting near fruition. But there'll be a lot more about it in the next few weeks. It's going to be a busy end of the year for the 9. We mentioned the Ashes cricket. This will be all going on with the backdrop of the Ashes cricket. It'll rate really well for them, so they'll love to go to market with some action like that as the backdrop.
Okay, and some movement in the production sector as well this week, James.
Yeah, look, Leonie Lowe, the previous boss of ITV Studios in Australia, started up her own company, Loon Media it's called. Her first show off the ground is a Donna Hay special she's doing for Foxtel. I think if that does really well, I wouldn't be surprised if that turned into a series perhaps next year. And as was mentioned in the Stocks Cross before, 7 are teaming up with Beyond 7, opening an LA office, going to look at producing for the States. Reunites some of those 7 executives, both Tim Warner and Brad Lyons are former sort of Beyond executives, so they'll be sort of returning with their old boss, Michael Borglin there.
And very interesting property acquisition this week, James, from the guys who produced The Block.
Yeah, look, Julian Cress and David Barber. Melbourne's been a happy hunting ground for those guys. Of course, it started in Sydney with Bondi. Yes. They went to Manly. They did a series in Vaucluse. But when they went to Melbourne, they really hit pay dirt. Melbourne audiences loved it. People around the rest of the country did it too. So they go back to Melbourne as often as they can. They bought, I think it's an office block this time. They had the block Sky High before. The previous time they bought an old high-rise motel, did that up with with units, so it'd be interesting to see what they get up to with this office block. And
Yeah,
we think there'll be
absolutely.
2 series of the block again next year because it worked so well for 9 this year.
Okay, great. And the BBC has revealed the name of its new channel on Foxtel, and it's incredibly creative or surprising.
Yeah, BBC First,
Yes.
you know, a bit of a no-brainer, wasn't it? Look, the channel got a big plug from Brian Walsh at the Foxtel Upfront last week. He had everything, though, except the name. The name was revealed a couple of days later. What Brian did tell us, it's going to be the place, it's a pretty big deal for Foxtel because they're going to have first-run rights virtually, I think, to all BBC drama, all BBC comedy. Some of that stuff will remain exclusive to Foxtel for at least a year, some of it forever, but some other programs will be available to other broadcasters for secondary run rights at a later date.
And just finally, James, 10 has released the team for So You Think You Can Dance. It's back.
Yeah, look, bit of a surprise. Paula Abdul's coming out. She was one of the judges on American Idol for quite a few years.
Was, yes.
So, and she's got a dance background, so she sort of makes an obvious choice, I guess. But it's a format 10 had before. It worked well to start with. The ratings dropped off, and they decided not to proceed. Look, they call these shiny floor shows. If you get it right, it does very well. 10 really need one of these to work, so they put Carrie Bickmore in as the host. She looks after, of course, the project, which is often one of their highest rating shows on most weeknights. So, you know, it makes sort of sense that they could bring some of that audience across to this new dancing show.
Great, James Manning from Mediaweek. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us as
Kate.
always. We'll see you again next
Okay.
week. That's all we have time for from the team here. Thanks for your company.
Yeah.